Hey everybody, welcome back to Foil Fridays from MattKiteboarding.com. This is Tucker, and today I'm going to tell you about the Ensis water sports wing. This is a new wing for our shop. We've been testing it for a little while now, and it's a really great one, so I figured I'd make a quick video and tell you about it. As with all of our videos, click the eye icon in the upper right hand corner. That will take you directly to our foil boarding knowledge center, where you'll find more blogs and videos and other fun stuff. So let's jump into it. This is the Ensis water sports wing. You might be familiar with it from seeing Balls Mueller online or Instagram, social media, doing crazy jumps and tricks with this wing, or just pumping around in like no wind at all. And this is the tool he uses. He's actually part of their development team, so that's pretty cool stuff. So for this one, we have the 6 meter here. This one is kind of my light wind go-to for the really light winds when you're really looking to make the most of it and pump up down there in the low teens and quickly build momentum and apparent wind so you can do all your fun tricks and stuff. Some of the video actually that you'll see featured as I'm talking was shot on a day with about 12 to 13 knots of wind. So on that day in this wing, properly powered, no problems, can do pretty much whatever I want. And I've ridden it down to almost about 10 probably, with a bit more effort on my part, we'll say. So on this side of the wing, you can see it is just a beautiful design here. I mean, it's a really sharp looking wing. Even some funny commentary here. A type of rigid structure that provides lift while moving through the air and is a whole lot of fun to ride with. Some fun little commentary here on the corners. And as you can tell, it was Swiss engineered. So going into the canopy, you can see it's a 3x3 ripstop. So that stuff is fairly lightweight while maintaining a really solid durability. Very, very resistant to tearing and stretching. So this is a canopy you can trust for the long haul. It's going to last a long time. Similarly, you can see on the windows, they've got reinforcement stitching. And really what that does is it helps to increase the life on the windows, really, by reducing any kind of stretching or any other issues with the windows. So that helps reinforce those, especially when you're riding really powered up and really looking for a long lifespan on your wing. That's kind of a neat feature. I haven't owned it long enough to really tell how well that works, but I'm told from windsurf guys that does make a noticeable effect in the durability, so that's cool. As with all of our wings, you'll notice it has great padding and scuff protection. That's really important, to protect your leading edge from your normal wear and tear type stuff. And especially if you're riding with a skateboard or land board or something, those scuff protectors are really key to make sure it's going to last a long time. Now we are to the operating side of the wing here, and we've got some unique stuff we can talk about and look at on this wing. As you can tell, it's a 6 meter, and this is a big wing, but still the wingspan isn't too bad on this one. For a 6 meter at least, it's pretty medium aspect. You really get a long boom midsection, and then it tapers off towards the ends. So really it's still very manageable, easy to handle in the water. Moving from the top down, you'll notice you've got a really nice big luffing handle here, or leading edge handle we'll call it. It's very stiff, but also big, where you can get both hands around it to transfer hands, or really just get to one side of it. Very easy to find and grab, so that's a really nice leading edge handle. Our leash is a nice wrist leash, little on the shorter side, which some people like, some people won't. If you like it a little bit longer, just add a little pigtail to the end of it. It's pretty easy to adjust. It is a wrist leash with one hand closure, over and back, which is what I prefer personally. It's just easier to do than your typical wrap leash, especially if you're in the water transferring it from hand to hand or from ankle to arm or whatever. Moving down here, we'll talk about the inflation system. The Ensis wings feature a liquid force max flow valve. So those of you that are kiteboarders might be familiar with this one. But I'll show it to you real quick. It is the largest inflation nozzle that is offered, and it's just a quick pressure fit into there. The newer ones are even better because you can see this O-ring. It's a double O-ring closure, so that really helps lock that in there and make sure no air is getting out or blowing the cap off in a worst case scenario. But very reliable, easy to use, and really fastest way to pump up your wing on the market. In a similar kind of a discussion here, we have our strut tubes, strut connection tubes here. You can see they're oversized, really large tubes, and we've got 2 of them. So that's a really unique feature for Ensis. And what that does is it helps inflate and deflate this big strut, you know, when you're pumping up or tearing down, helps really get that air into the strut or out of the strut quickly. And that helps you get to the water faster or get you where you need to be after a session, because all of us wind addicts are always running late to that kind of stuff. So that'll help you in that regard. Moving down even further here, we've got probably what is the most unique feature on the Ensis wings, which is their handle system. So this is almost like a hybrid handle boom. And they've got 3 long handles here. See you guys what those look like. But they're still rather tight to the boom. And what that gives you is a really solid connection to the boom, and also micro tuning for where you want to put your hands. So usually, you know, with handles, you kind of, you know, you have to put your hands where they are. You could kind of try to split them or something weird if you really needed to, but there's not a lot of micro tuning. And if you want to change handles or change your hand positions, you need to let it go and find another handle, which can be difficult, especially if you're trying to remain powered up. But on these, you simply slide your hands around. Really, it helps to adjust and fine-tune where you're putting your hands really easily. The center one is placed in a great spot for riding one-handed or flipping your wing around during transitions and other kind of cool tricks like that. All 3 handles are in really great places. They're very intuitive, and when you're not looking, you know, trying to grab a handle or move your hand around or transition, they're very easy to find. Very easy to share 2 hands and 1 handle, obviously. So they're really unique design, and I found I really love this style of handle. It's very comfortable, easy to use, very intuitive, you know, without the need for all these different handles across there that you need to change and find based on what you're doing and what kind of power you're riding with. One thing you're not finding on this is a harness line attachment point. For me, I just attach it to right here and then about here on this middle handle from here to here, and that works really well for me. I tried to attach it from here to here at first, but that just seemed like it was a little too far back in the power, where if I let go, it would kind of fall backwards or power up too much, falling downwind. So, you know, somewhere in here and in here seemed to work well for me on the 6 meter. So that works really well. Additionally though, if you're a windsurfer and you have a windsurf boom, you actually can hook a windsurf boom to this wing. Now, personally, I think these handles work phenomenal. I think a harness line on the handles work amazing. But if you're really after a hard boom or want that option to do either, you can connect a windsurf boom to the top handle and to this little loop down here on the bottom of the boom. So I'm not sure how useful that is or how many people actually do that, but it is kind of a neat opportunity to play with something new, or if you just want something, you know, where you can do that with. So it's really neat. Really, that's all I can say about this wing and its features. I've been riding it for a little while now, and as I said, This 6-meter really is one of my favorite 6-meters, especially for lighter winds. If you're doing new, turning tricks, if you're whipping the wing around downwind or riding backwind, doing any of those wing handling tricks, this handle layout and the way this wing flies really is rather phenomenal. Creates a lot of power and grunt in the low end, but then also builds a lot of power through apparent wind. And that just speaks to the engineering and the shape of the wing, where it really maximizes that power and maximizes its top speed without creating too much drag while you're riding. Really, I think a lot of that has to do with the canopy tension they have on this. You can see here, it's sitting here even with no power in the sail, and it's got a good amount of tension through the trailing edge and shaping in the canopy. So they've done a really good job with that in production and design. Additionally, like a lot of my favorite wing, it does have a leech panel in the back to help shape that back edge and make the most of its size. Generates a lot of low end grunt and lift in those lighter situations, which is part of the reason why I like it so much in light wind. One thing I forgot to mention is the sizes, kind of the aspect ratio of the design changes per size. So this 6-meter is rather medium aspect, kind of chunky design. You go to the 4.5 meter, it gets a little higher aspect, and I have to assume they're going to do the same thing for the 2.5 and the 3.5s when those release. So it is, a nice design to have those dedicated designs per size, not just a scaled model. And really, that's where you're going to get the best performance for each size. Anyway, this has been Tucker with Matt Kiteboarding. As always, give us a thumbs up if you appreciate the video, share it with a friend, and subscribe to our channel so that you can get notified of more cool videos like this one.